Having an ROG Ally X for close to a year now, and also like the state of handheld gaming. Now, if you recall, I did used to have a Steam Deck, and then I sold that and got the ROG Ally X. I've had this now since around about this time last year, and now that we're in 2026, a lot of people probably wonder, is the ROG Ally X worth it now that we're so far along? I think this was released 3-ish years ago. Now, I personally bought this last year because of I do apologise for the reflection here, and I've turned off the lights in here, but it's still, hopefully it's bright enough to see. I don't have a studio, unfortunately, and you're getting a reflection of my camera, which is a bit annoying. Hopefully you can see past that. So yeah, sorry, back to the subject. The state of handhelds coming into this year, we knew that the Z2 Extreme, which was released at the end of last year, devices featuring that were not going to be particularly more powerful than Z1 Extreme. And also, the prices on them were going to be significantly higher. And since then, the situation with the AI boom, we've had massive spikes in the increased cost of RAM. Obviously, GPUs have been mental for years now. But RAM, which used to be the cheapest little upgrade you could have on your desktop PC, that has gone up a crazy amount too. So the prices are only going to keep going up for handheld PCs. The Ally X, I got this one used on eBay for around 600 with a D-brand kill switch case, and it also came with these stickers here. I'm going to turn these lights on now because it's suddenly decided to get quite dark in here. This is springtime in Britain, so you can never quite tell what's going to go on. Now I've got the lights on, and it's going to be Reflection City, so I do apologise. Yeah, so the Z2 Extreme was coming out around about 10% higher in benchmarks, which is not, to me, a generational leap. When I play in general on my Ally X, the games I play are not always brand new AAA games anyway. So look what I've got installed on here at the moment. Ace Combat 7, that's a few years old. Age of Empires 4, Assassin's Creed games. The Valhalla does push this a bit, but you can it's still quite playable. Baldur's Gate, that's pretty demanding. Final Fantasy 12 Zodiac Age, obviously that's a very old game, remade, or not remade, just enhanced a little bit. Doom, Clair Obscur, that runs around 30 frames. I'd say that and Helldivers are probably the two most demanding games I play on here. But yeah, a lot of these games, they're not brand new AAA games, or if they are brand new, they tend to be like role players that are turn-based and don't necessarily rely on high frame rates. So, seeing that Z2 Extreme wasn't going to be much better, was going to be a lot more expensive, and I don't necessarily need it, I went for the Ally X Z1 Extreme. Now, I got it with the D-brand kill switch case, which, as you can tell, I've taken off. That was not enjoyable. I immediately played it out of the box with the kill switch case on, and going from my Steam Deck, that was one of the biggest things I noticed. I was really disappointed about how heavy the Ally X was. It felt like it weighed nearly twice as much. It didn't. It was, I think, around about 200 grams or 150 grams. And it turns out 100 grams of that was actually the kill switch case. I had it on there for a month, and I actually really disliked the Ally X because it felt like carrying around a house brick. When I took it off, it wasn't even that ergonomic in the first place. I took it off, I preferred the looks, and the weight of it was just drastically different. And that's just one of the biggest improvements I've had on the Ally X, was actually just removing that case. And it baffles me that people, I think it's something $60 for the D-brand kill switch case. I would have dug it out so you know what I'm talking about. I know a lot of people know what I'm talking about anyway, but I would have dug it out, but I actually don't know where I put it. It's so low down my list of priorities. It's just chucked in the back of a cupboard somewhere. Now, I was playing the Ally X for ages without anything else, just with this case on. But then about 3 weeks ago, I got these 3D printed comfort grips. Now, I got these off eBay. They were £12, so about $16. I'm not sure if I'm necessarily sold on them. The problem with the Ally X, and this is one of the big things I love about the Steam Deck, was that the Steam Deck, let me just show you, sorry, 1 second, I know people like to see stats. So there's this Persona 3 reload, getting about 78 frames a second at the moment, and I'm playing this just on these settings here, TDP limit of 15 watts. Now this will dip down from 78 frames a second. I'm just walking around the student halls, but that will drop down if more demanding things happen, but get pretty good battery life, might as well. But yeah, the ergonomics, I never had this on the Steam Deck, but my pinkies would go completely numb on this after about a 2-hour session. And with big RPGs, I'm skipping through all this chat by because I completed the PS2 version. I'm not entirely sure. I completed the PS2 version emulated about a year and a half ago. I'm not entirely sure why I actually bought this one, but I'm just a consumer, I guess. Let's see if there's anything I can do. What day is it? Sunday. Let's see if I can study. Yeah. So my pinkies would go numb after about 2 hours of playing, and with big RPGs, you do tend to get stuck into these big sessions. So I'd heard a lot of things about the comfort grips, so I picked these up, and I'm not sure. There are two different sizes of grips, the common 3D printed ones. There's like the regular ones, which I'll just look at the light bouncing off there. I was trying to show you the 3D grips, but look at the light bouncing off the sticker. The regular ones are supposed to be designed for small to medium hands, and these comfort grips are supposed to be for larger hands. Now, I am 6'4", 194 centimeters, and so I have hands to match. So I consider myself to have fairly large hands, not like dinner plates or anything. So I thought that I need to get ready for my trip to Yakushima. I thought that the comfort grips would be the best choice, but they do actually feel a little bit too big. I've not had my pinkies go numb, but they're a bit of adjustment. I would have gone for the smaller ones if I'd known. So yeah, I certainly don't regret getting the Ally X. The only thing that's a downside, and it's certainly not the Ally X's problem, the downside is that I don't really have any games that I'm massively into. So like here, for example, Persona 3 Reload. I've had this now since it came out, and I've put in 20 hours. The problem was that on Steam Deck, the novelty of having a Steam Deck and be able to play games, handheld games, PC in your hand, is that I smashed through a lot of my back catalogue, and I also got really into, so I played and completed things like Persona 4 Golden, Persona 5 Royal, going completely blank about the medieval Atlas game. You know what I'm talking about. So yeah, let's just sort this by hours played. And Foot Manager I didn't particularly play on here, but yeah, 130 hours of Persona 5. Metaphor, 86 hours. I played Steam Deck, 72 hours. 72 hours of P4G. I did the Mass Effect trilogy, 67 hours. Final Fantasy 7 Remake Intergrade. Helldivers, actually all my time of Helldivers has been on handhelds. So I put a lot of hours, Assassin's Creed Odyssey as well. Put a lot of hours into the Steam Deck and completed a lot of the games that are in my back catalogue, like those ones I just showed you. So now I've got a lot of games that I'm not hugely that fussed about. Just trying to find something to do. I did get into, but the problem is I sort of go in and out. I did get into, I've got them collections. Sort by. Yeah, I've played quite a few hours recently of Fire Emblem Three Houses. I'd heard a lot of good things about it. It's essentially like a slimmed down social version of Persona, but with tactical battles. It scratches a bit of that Persona itch, but it's nowhere near in that kind of like level to me. Yeah, so that's the main problem I've had with the Ally X is I don't have that many games I'm obsessed with playing right now. Now, you may also noticed that this is not Windows. And I actually thought about this the other day. I had completely forgotten that this thing comes boxed with Windows. Out of the box, when you get it, you will be running Windows. However, as soon as I got mine the same day, I installed Bazite on it. Bazite is very similar to SteamOS, and I've been playing it now, Bazite on there for over a year, and honestly, it functions just as well as SteamOS to me anyway. I've not had any negative experiences. I cannot believe this is a fan-made or a non-official Linux operating system. It feels like the Ally X was designed to come with this. It's just consoleizes it. It's everything I enjoyed about the Steam Deck. Yeah, it's really good. I will say a couple of things against the Ally is the screen size and the screen colors. Obviously not as good as Steam Deck OLED. Slightly smaller, less vivid colors on it. But you do have a higher headroom for frame rate. If somehow you are really into competitive shooters on a handheld, then it's better for that. But yeah, for me, it's just like having a little bit of extra battery, a little bit of extra power, so I can play this for a little bit longer and slightly higher settings than I could on Steam Deck. It's not night and day. It's not going to blow your socks off. But if you're really, really into handhelds, yeah, that's why I went for it. So yeah, back to the state of handhelds in 2026. You've got the Z2 Extreme devices out in the market, and they're around about £1,000, so £400 more than I paid for this. £400 in the UK is about £15 more than the Switch 2. I'm not going to say about the PS5 and the Xbox because I believe they've recently had price hikes, but £400 is around about the price of a home games console. So that big a difference to go to Z2 Extreme. In a game like this where I'm getting 56 frames a second right now, and considering it's, I'm just clicking through dialogue, wow, I could maybe go get this at 65 frames a second in this scene. Would that make a difference? Is that worth £400? Not to me, it's not. So I'm waiting for basically a Z3 Extreme device. I don't know when it's going to come out, or hit Strix Halo or whatever the next stage is. Because there are some niche ones out there, but even then, like the niche £2,000 Aya Neo devices, they're not like, it's not like a generational leap yet. It's not that feeling that when you first turn your PS2 after having PS1 and you go and look at it and go, wow, this is like real life. It's not that yet. And I think that's when I'll upgrade. And hopefully, I mean, my dream wish list is that there'll be a device that comes out which is, I feel like I have to stretch for £1,000 for the next device. I think that's just how they are these days. We're so lucky to get the Steam Deck coming in at $350, but I think that until Valve releases something else, we're going to look at £1,000 being about the norm. If a device comes out as £1,000 that is ideally, we're dreaming here, but like the same battery as this or better, and say 30% more powerful, powerful enough to run the AAA games. So, for example, Helldivers, I can run that between 25 and 30 frames a second on like a low medium mix. If I can run that on like a high medium mix at 30, 40 frames a second, that would be brilliant. I'm basically hoping for like a low PS5 kind of standard, because currently we've got like a high PS4 standard. A low PS5 standard and good battery life would be amazing. And also, if we're just going for a wish list, I'd like it to be a bit lighter as well, because that's the main reason that I've bought things such as the AYN4, so many strange names, the AYN 4 and the Odin 2 and things like that, is because it's just nice to not hold something that's so heavy. But yeah, let's go to the beach. Okay. Yeah, so we're not quite there yet. The closest thing I've seen is the this could be really bad, because there's the Legion Go, and then there's the Legion Go 2, which is the one with the Z2 Extreme, and then there's Legion Go S. The Legion Go S comes with either a Z2 Go chip, which is like a Z1 some like less than the Z1 Extreme, closer to the original Steam Deck's Van Gogh processor. And then there's a Legion Go S with a Z1 Extreme in it, which is basically so the same as this. And the ergonomics and everything looks and it looks a really nice device, really nice big screen. Really keen on that. However, I would if that had a Z2 Extreme in it, then I would be, I know it's not much of an upgrade. That would maybe sway me, but it doesn't have it. So it'd be the same performance, just slightly nicer screen and better ergonomics, which I don't think is necessarily worth the price of the upgrade. As you can see, we're at the high 60s frame rate. Okay. Let's just run off here and look at the frame rate and the graphics. I think it's a nice looking game, P3R, sorry. Does what it needs to do. Pretty enough. They've done efficient use of power here. Yeah. Nice and bright and vibrant. So yeah, essentially, if somebody said to me now, a family member said to me, I want to get a handheld PC, what do you recommend? I would actually probably say, do you have the money for a ROG Ally X? And if you don't, maybe get the ROG Ally. Used alloys on eBay, I was seeing around about £300, the Z1 Extremes. If you don't mind the battery life, that is a really good choice. You can actually get, if you're a little bit more technically minded than some of my family members are, you can get an upgraded battery, sold mostly from like Chinese sites, but I think they're about £50-60. So you're looking about $350 to essentially get an ROG Ally X after you've done that. And I think price, performance, any Z1 Extreme device, so getting Ally would be, yeah, definitely up with what you can get at any price really for £300. Z1 Extreme ROG Ally. If you can put up with the slightly worse ergonomics and you can put up with the terrible battery life on it, you're near enough there. Like you could, spend £2,000 on a Neo device and get 10, 15, 20 frames more. So if you're into competitive shooters, then maybe, but it's not going to really blow you away. Like right now, 48 frames a second, the Ally has slightly less RAM than this, but would I really be benefiting hugely from playing this at 80 frames right now instead of 60? Probably not. Would it make a difference? Probably not. All right, let's just save and quit. I realised I rambled on quite a lot in that video and didn't really finish up. So just to summarise, I've got the 3D printed comfort grips. Not sure how I feel about those. They seem slightly more ergonomic than not having them on there. But as to whether they're necessary, I'm not sure. Maybe smaller grips would be better, but you know, they're cheap. That's fine. £12. It's cheap. That's fine. And until they release a generational jump over the Z1 Extreme, I'm going to stay put. And I think that's quite an important thing, is to really assess what it is you want from a handheld gaming PC. And yeah, I think a used Ally X or a used Ally or a used Steam Deck may cover your needs. And until then, you know, until they do have generational leap, just save up your money, because I'm not sure these £1,000 Z2 Extreme devices are really that worth it, especially not as an upgrade. If you're going out for a fresh device and you've got the money, yeah, fair enough. Yeah, they are better. There's no denying they are better than Ally X. But yeah, if you're just looking to upgrade, I wouldn't say it's worth it myself. That's just my opinion. But yeah, it'd be nice to see some real quantum leaps in the handheld space, because at the moment it's stagnating a little bit. And I know that's not really the fault of the manufacturers, more the fault of the AI companies buying up all the RAM, buying up the graphics cards, sending components through the roof. But hopefully we see some big innovations, because until that happens, I'll be staying put. But yeah, thank you for watching my rambly video. Have a great day. Cheers, thanks, and bye.